Uh, Johnny, let me ask you. You would have seen all this stuff with Dillian White and Andy Ruiz over the last few days as well.
Yeah. So I rate Dillian because Dillian, you know, he's not bullshitting. You know, so if he's saying, "Come on, let's do it," he'll just do it. And if you run him down, he'll come looking for you and front you out. He might not beat you up, but he'll sit and say, "Yo, attack ball," you know. And I like that about him. I like that if he bumps into Ruiz at a show, he's gonna boom march over to him because I've seen him, and I like that about him. I thought he's no bullshitter. He reminds me of a Joe Frazier. He's just like raw. He's rugged, and so Ruiz has got he's got one hit. But Ruiz has got one hit. Ruiz is a millionaire now, so Ruiz is living a different lifestyle. Things have changed from a little bit. Remember, it's not been that long, so he's got money, he's got dollars. So he knows his next fight, he's got to make the most of it because he's a good scout. It's the fight after that where he's not going to be able to command as much money. So he's wanting 4 million, 5 million. He might get that for his next fight. So I can understand him trying to hold out to get as much money as he can, because he knows after this fight, that big gravy train is gone, and that's what he's got to be smart on. Do you remember when Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson, and then Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson, and then his next fight was against Evander Holyfield. That year, Buster Douglas was the richest sportsman in the world, as in money earned, that year, because his next fight was for a lot of money against Holyfield. Then after that, he stopped plummeted. So Ruiz, I understand Ruiz saying, "Give me this." Yeah, wait, give me this. Someone's going to pay. I think he's poking the stick at the wrong dog if he's doing that with Dillian White, because Dillian White will hound you. Because I know Dillian White was doing that with Wilder. He was doing that he does it with Joshua. He will do it with all of them. And so I actually like people watching him, how he just operates. I actually like that side of Dillian because people have got to react to him. And I think he's the only one that's throwing a room with anybody and sitting around a table with anybody, and he will give as good as he gets. He's the only one. I think if you put Anthony Joshua on a table across from Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, I think he would verbally be outsparred. I think if you put Dillian White in the table with any of them, he will give them as much back and more. And you know that there'll be some serious tension in the room.
Eddie Hearn hasn't kind of ruled out the possibility of Andy Ruiz being Dillian White's next opponent. Obviously, with the situation we're in, awaiting confirmed dates in this lockdown, etc., etc., he said that there's a possibility that it could be Ruiz next. So,
yeah, there's no
reason the Povetkin, or
yeah, there's no reason why not, because White needs an opponent, which that's got a bit some status, and Dillian White and Ruiz, he can fight who he wants, and so it's not ruling it out. It's about then you put it down to the businessmen. Even Tony Bellew said, I'd come out of retirement and probably beat Ruiz, but it wouldn't be his fight, it'd be a trickster or something worse to that effect. I get it. He's hot property, Ruiz. Ruiz is like the guy you think, I want to beat the man, I beat the man. And but remember, before Ruiz lost to Anthony Joshua, everybody else thought that, who boxed Ruiz? And they look at this little fat guy with long arms thinking, I'd do him. And they underestimate what he actually can do because of how he looks.
It's mad, isn't it? Because before this fight with Joshua last year, do you know who's ringing me?
Go on. Dave, why have you got that doesn't look like Dave on a picture.
That's Leonard Ellaby. Sorry, Dave, I'll ring you back in a minute. No one was ever talking about Ruiz as in contention with kind of the top heavyweights in the world. It's mad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because of look at him. But you think that's why people made Julian Jackson, when he used to box, Julian Jackson, I can remember when Harold boxed him, Julian Jackson, and you knew he was vulnerable, but could bang. And Harold just didn't do his homework on Julian Jackson. Julian Jackson, he thought this guy can't be beaten. As long as you boxing. The only guy that beat him was Mike McCallum to that point, because Mike McCallum did his homework. As Julian Jackson got him close, he put his hands up, blocked him, bam, bam, did his homework. And so Errol said, "No, I don't need to watch that. I know how to deal with him." You know, and what I'm saying is doing the homework. And so when he boxed Julian Jackson, he boxed him, thinking I've got him. The fight was almost stopped. The fight was almost Errol's until he made a fighter mistake, what everybody else did. They looked at Julian Jackson thinking, this guy can't see. They're outboxing him. Then all of a sudden get catched. The second he sees you, that's a problem, because he had such bad eyesight. Once you came into focus, boom, he took you out. So you've got to give your opponent that respect. Andrew Ruiz never got that respect from his previous opponents. That's why he was unbeaten going into that. Bar from the loss to Joseph Parker, which was you know, you can talk about did he win or didn't he lose. It was a close fight. It was contentional. So with the Andrew Ruiz, people have just got to look at him and think, wow, forget about what I see, how he looks. It's what he can do, what he can achieve. And so don't underestimate him. The only reason why I would question him now is about desire and hunger, because his life has changed. His lifestyle changed, and it makes a lot of difference to certain people. And so that's why I would question. That's the only reason why I would question the situation with Andrew Ruiz.
Interesting. And Dillian Whyte is still out in Portugal. He's in camp, you know.
Good, because last time Dillian Whyte was out, you know, he wasn't happy with his performance because he was overweight. He just wanted it back that he boxed his last fight.
Whack was on the Saudi.
Whack, yeah. So he wasn't happy with his performance because and Wack is not the kind of guy you choose as a you know, one of those fights. It was tough, and Dillian Whyte's, you know, he's struggling, but then he was happy with how he looked. Now he's put himself in a position where I'm getting my body ready for when you're ready. And as I said before to many people, this next 6 months, the first 6 months out of quarantine, out of lockdown, when shows are on, you're going to see so many upsets in this game. Because now it's a level playing field. Everybody is training, bar people like Dillian who put themselves in a position where they're in camp and they're willing to make it their lifestyle to stay in camp while we're on quarantine. Everybody's on a level playing field. So one fighter's not going to have 12 weeks notice over the next fight and put them in last minute notice. They're going to want to put shows on. So when they put these shows on, every fighter that's gone in there has had the same amount of notice, had the same amount of prep, time to prep. So do not be surprised if there's a couple of upsets. The other thing that I would say is this: if they're going to put shows on where there's no crowd there, you and I could fight today in an empty car park, and you'd beat me. You and I then fight again in an arena where there's 20,000 or I never got 20,000, but a crowded place, and I'd beat you. So again, it's about learning. So it's the youngsters, the young ones coming through. It's about mental attitude and mental preparation to be able to deal with these things. So doing something like this is going to make a lot of difference to the results of a fight. And yes, you'll say if you can win, you can win. But it's not just about getting there and boxing. It's about that as well.